Hello, Spotting here. So I was looking at some charts and splushing isn't on, so I thought I'd make this little update because, what else, right? That's what I do all day, every day anyway, so you can do it with me. You're doing it with me now, right? Hail, the Tradespotting's here. What the hell do we care? Right, so price action, this is Bitcoin futures. And there's a flash at 20,280. But you know that because you've got the Rocket Crop Flash, you smart person, you. It saves you so much money, which is incredible, isn't it? You know, it's incredible. I mean, you've got the right mindset already having it because then it helps you make more money. It's fantastic. The utility in the thing, you know, from it you can derive money, which is fantastic. So having gone ahead and got it, you're now able to use it, which is fantastic. And it helps inform you that you'll know Bitcoin futures contract in future will come back to 20,280. Interesting. Couple other things before the heartburn overcomes me. Quickly get your snorkel in. Oh, whew. Some relief, right? My snorkel. Right, so, right, what's going on here is this distribution, and this is more of the same. In here, right, a little bit of inflection may come back up and test this previous level of resistance. This is a 1.13 extension of this low to this high, right? That's the low from June 2021 to November 2021. The low to high, that move, gives you an extension of 1.13, which is also the same as the 1618 on the low from January 22 until the peak there this year, March 2022. So you see how there's confluence there, and that became support then when price action broke down, and resistance when it recovered the breakdown on May, 12th of May there, and then when it touched it from belows on August, right, a couple of weeks in August. So see how that level worked, right? That was also the 1.13 extension. So it became very important. And that equivalent then is the next low, right? The next low, the same thing happened to the 1618 here. And then, whoop, there it is. As you can see when I turn this on, 1.618, 2618, right? That's the next extension level that I use in this particular analysis with this particular method of medium, this particular medium. Hi, have you liked the subscribe button? Of course you have. You're from a Discord on Flash Room and everything. So, cause that's the only place I'm planning on sharing this video. Quickly get your snorkels in. Oh shit! No more snorkels for me. That's it. No mask, no mask fuegos. So yeah, we're doing serious work here, aren't we, us flashers? So yeah, I mean, if it does move back up again, there's gaps on the chart and whatnot, and we're all looking at that thinking, yeah, sure. It won't change the trend, right? The trend being this has to exceed this high, 69,000, before it starts actually really going crazy, at which point, you know, this thing does love to make parabolic moves, and you expect it would do. But long before then, you'd have obviously gone beyond this. You know, it's a lower high, especially when you put it in context. And then obviously the definitive part of the trend when this was the first lower high, this was a higher low though. So the trend, you know, definitively became down when we broke this level at 25. And so that being resistance subsequently means this is a very important reflection point, right? 25,000 on Bitcoin. Very, very important level. Now, perhaps the most important after our most recent test lows in it around this 2618 extension. Which, as you can tell, if you go from the low within this formation here that we've been in. Get up, buddy. Where's this guy? Yeah, this low, which is in around this 2618. If you do the extension here, drag it out, this is the 1618 down at 15,750 and 2618 is at 13,165, which is interesting. Pull this guy over. Obviously, you're a little bit further down there if you're looking at the breakdown. Ultimately being still in line with this dominant fib, which is the divergent second high on Bitcoin, and might define then the ultimate low, at least the target for a catastrophic breakdown based on that Fibonacci sequence, you might be looking in at these lows, yo. You might be, yo. I'd say that that's very close enough that I would be aiming for this on any move. After that, of course, there's obviously potential, but I'm not talking about that happening immediately anyway. So this would be a retest of a breakout. And so, until such times as that's decided, you're not able to say it's definitively breaking down. It's back above a 200 period moving average, 50 simple above that, price action above them, both trend to the top side in the sense that it's above this high and higher lows. But then, you know, a number of people would look at this formation. You could draw it different ways, but that jumps out at me. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Horizontal levels to look to. Then we can go right and see golden pocket. Top side fill that, 22,400. This is the futures, remember. 21,225. 50% retracement at that stage. You've already made that level. Already pushed there. And again, bearishly divergent on RSI, despite the fact they're in the bullish control zone. Not going to argue with it while it's there, but should it break down, not hold support at this stage, which would be the 236 at 20,500, you would then lose that. You'd be targeting the 382, which would also be beyond the upward sloping support line this thing's put in since it touched its lowest point in this formation at 17,180 or whatever that was. What was it? 17,890 something. And around that level. And also, if you're looking at that and you want to be paying attention, right, 5-minute time frame there, you can see the futures chart retraced to this flash at 20,245. At that point, you had your inflection point, your price action moved into the higher high. And this would be an interesting level to look to at any sort of a breakdown, you know, talking about those levels as we were slightly higher. 30-minute time frame, what's the momentum saying again in here? You have potential cross that's trying to undo itself. There we go, boom. Above the 200 period moving average as that went through, but it didn't give you the effective signal and you were below when that went through. So now you're also experiencing a touch of bearish divergence. It does put risk on Bitcoin. Risk is on Bitcoin. So this is a crypto update. And shout out Rocky Outcrop. Tell me everything I know. Then I would point out something very interesting before going to talk about the altcoins. Where are you? There we have it. I found it. Found it on my Onio. Found it on my Onio flashers. Wonder if it'll ever make it anywhere else. Maybe it will. Weekly time frame. Weekly. So you can see Bitcoin is at historical lows here with the percentage of money that's in Bitcoin as opposed to every other cryptocurrency. The 5-day time frame, where is this information that I feel is to be most pertinent? Clearly you're in a formation here that's defined by this high, 1, 2, 3 touches, and this low, a number of them, 1, 2, 3. I'd take that out and put it along like that and say like this is the lower risk, higher risk areas. But that's not what I'm talking about. Well, it is. Here we are, 2-day time frame where there's a flash back up at 60%, right? 60%. So the question becomes, is this going to be in a bullish or a bearish scenario where we see Bitcoin dominating to the tune of 60%? It seems obvious to me, the answer to that question. Then we want to look back down daily time frame. You can see you're at this level of support at the minute, right? That flash is somewhere up those levels. And the overall risk profile changes back above a much higher level, back up to 74 plus. So what's it gonna take? Shout out Hans Damps. Yo. What's it gonna take for price action to get back to those levels? Well, you know, interesting. When again, well, that's something to look to. I think the lots of inflection points here. 200 period moving average, 1 USDT. If that would be to be moving up, you'd see lots of other things moving up at the same time. It's obviously horizontal levels. Way below there, we find a 200 period moving average on that similar time frame on VET. Something I'd worry about if I was in LRC is the fact, right, this is all done prior to this breakout, right? Isn't it? Like I need to show off to you guys about Tradespotting, but this was the support level that we anticipated getting to. This was the resistance with the diagonal and the 200 period moving average on daily. Shout out Chardonnay flasher for the tip yesterday. Well, it was 13 hours ago, so I don't know when that was. But that was today, wasn't it? Tradespot. No, yesterday. So, hi. And so, well done, right? LRC, you made it up here. You didn't make it any further. That's not quite a 786 there, is it? If it is, then that's it. That's all she wrote. Good night. Oh, dearie me. So, dearie me, LRC. So, you want to be careful with LRC. I'm sure there's still a potential area to aim for. This previous flash up here at 0.5 and change. That's still very possible. 2 hour time frame back above the golden plus 70. I didn't even knew that. It's not great. Looks like it could be a bull flag and try and push on. At that stage, you'd be anticipating bearish divergence. Previously overbought there. Volatility still high. Stochastics absolutely dropping off a cliff. Just coming back to the sort of places they could turn around and push their heads back up again. That's the early time frame. They're losing utility there. Down at 30 minutes. Where is it then? There's a number of things to look to on this. Where are they? I'm trying to make a point about it, and they're not jumping out at me. It's really frustrating at the minute. Where is it? Turn off the drawings. Tradespotting. What are they? What are these things? Ha, right, yes. So, flashers. Hey, flashers. Yo, flashers. Yo, it turned off the drawings and turned back on again. It did that multiple times. So, 5 minute time frame LRC. Bear this in mind. Facts. Whoops. Facts. Fang. Now we're getting... See, this is different. This is different, this accidental type. What did this bring up? Nothing exciting there, though. That is a nice chart. Yummy. What's going on with this thing? Global 30 crypto index. Okay. I see. Right. Well, we need bigger time frames. That's what the trailer for Tradespotting will say when it pans to the guy at the back. We need bigger time frames. So this looks interesting. Whatever this... How did this come to my attention? Boring. What about this? This will be very similar to what we just looked at, won't it? Resistance, support. Holy jeepers. And then I suppose we take it from the low here to the high. There's your first extension. There's the next breakdown target. Whoa, that'd be brutal, wouldn't it? Right, and that sort of matches up with what we were saying previously. And then within this section, I suppose you would do that. You'd catch another one, wouldn't you? Yeah, looks like it. 236 golden pocket already. Oh, inflection points and whatnot. Right, so anyway, I don't know why that jumped onto the chart. I was trying to make a point about something else. And also, this is another thing. Flashers. I'd pay attention to. Downward sloping diagonal there. I mean, it's relevant everywhere. Weekly time frame, though. Flash back at 0.74. In the meantime, lots of other things to look to below. Also, if we're talking about these idea of extensions, right? Just to be aware of this guy. This is already in around that guy, and you've got your confluence here previously. So if you are looking at resistance in this breaking out, 0.52 is at 0.43 at the minute. Even though, and there's obviously then you're back down here, other areas, inflection points. Full 2 hour time frame. Where is this good? There's another things I wanted to. There he is. I have to be very careful. ADA. Very careful. And then I'd be marking in my support and resistance, and I'd be aware of these, whoops. I don't know where that guy... How did you get there? Ha! This dude. Golden pocket retracements. I'd be looking for confluence, and I see it there, where you're already approaching those levels. So risk is very much on smaller term time frames. Weeklies, yeah, there's all those areas to aim to. You're not trending that direction at the minute, and you saw those other charts we put up. So, if everything does go fantastically bullish, then there's great targets above. But there's also really clear warning signs, and the structure of that Bitcoin dominance, like what would it take for Bitcoin dominance to return to 60% under current conditions? Well, if everything was bullish, Bitcoin would have to be outstripping the market to a significant degree. And the narratives for that would need to be that in a bullish scenario that Bitcoin had achieved something, was achieving something, and was definitely taking market share away from things like Ethereum and big market caps outside of it. Whereas if everything was collapsing, then a lot of the money would be going into Bitcoin naturally, because that would be seen to be the safest of a bunch. And therefore, it would be quite easy for the dominance to go up in Bitcoin in that sense. Also, a lot of money would just be being liquidated. And so to bear those things in mind. And whether or not Bitcoin does make it back to those lower flashes, seems like it's, going to, and this is going to be a famous indicator, and we're all going to be a famous trading group in future. So, yeah, I mean, like, they got to bear in mind, right, how's that 70%? I mean, it's not 70, 74 probably goes to, but the flash is in around 60. How's that going to play out, right? And is it going to be when ADA's moving up to 0.74? Is that why Bitcoin dominance is going to be taken over at that same stage? Because, the difficulty, like, the probabilities would suggest not, right? So, what does that mean for the overall market before such times as these topside flashes are hit? And if these are hit in advance of that, what does that mean for the price of Bitcoin? So, which is super interesting. That's where we started on the futures. And what's Bitcoin been doing right now as we've been talking? Where are you, Bitcoins? If I don't, I'll just look for you. There's where you go. Use this one, eh? So is this was all right? Well, continuation there's pretty obvious what that would look like. You could obviously mark that out as a channel, and you can see that there's a couple on there holding that previous resistance. Horizontal level 18,625, resistance 21,640, 21,367. Will it push back up and test that? If it does, the next target's 2345, 200 period moving average at nearly 24,000, and then this horizontal level could easily still be that. There's your 236 previously. So if we take that as a very important level on the weekly time frame, should everything get bullish, whether or not that happens is a different question. Down to the daily, right? Well, it's hard to, but we have to ignore that right now. Pushing back above these prior highs, was it okay? Not bad at all. Quite good having held the center line at that part of the trend. Quite good. We'll see 200 period moving average up there at 24. Obviously, this moving up while the futures market is closed, and SPY at the end of the day 376, 1.47, catching these wicks, closing that gap, moving back up, testing the 382, 50 simple period moving average. Really needs to get back up and recover above that. It's had a positive end to the day. 1 hour time frame, small as it's meaningful. Tradespotting says 200 period moving average, bullish divergence, catch top bearish, top of the bearish control zone, bounce up, find that. I think that's the 21 exponential. What am I using in there? Pardon me, just to get this gap so you see what I'm using. 21 exponential. Yes, yeah. So you got close to the idea of your prior highs. That's again 886 and no more from that drop down. It's been how things break down. You also have these opportunities for it not to do so, but this is the first time, right? We'll see how that works on Monday. Overall, VIX, also flashers are well aware of the amazing, interesting moves on VIX. 29.68 on the early time frame. That's where you find the 200 period moving average. If the SPY is to completely break down, it may well be that now you do see a move on VIX. We've had it come back to where we anticipated it would get to. We understand how you trade VIX, probably. I mean, I say that, but I don't know if I've articulated it perfectly for everybody. It's a mean reversion. The way you would be trading it is not. So I probably haven't explained it properly. Maybe I'll make an episode on that for you flashers. Anyway, you 1 hour time frame, 29.68. Whereas if you're over on UVXY, which, right, well, it's synonymous, right? We'll call it a synonym. It's a synonym. Anywho, like we had this potential trade on the go, which was fantastic because where is you? 4 hour, yeah, we was back with this flash, so it was like easy peasy lemon squeezy. And so, if you know the VIX is similar, then you were able to anticipate all these things. Everyone tweets all like, oh my God, I can't believe VIX is coming down. I can't believe it when the market's so volatile and everybody expects everything to double. We can't believe VIX isn't going up and going crazy. And oh my God, because that's where all their money was, because they copy Tradespotting, but they don't watch every day. Anyway, you're back, golden pocket retracement, bit of a bounce. There's a surprise. Not. You like them not jokes. This is the 1990s, so whoa. Right, so you came back, caught the trend line. You haven't done it again yet, though. If you did come back and touch in around that level where you would anticipate, that trend continuing from these prior lows, then you'd be filling this gap, which, you would expect to do at some point. And you can see how this thing works, right? Goes to highs, goes to lows, goes to highs, goes to lows, goes to highs, goes to lows. Those lows have been higher, those highs have been higher until such times as recently we were putting in horizontal level of resistance and upward sloping support. So we'll see. How does that evolve? Well, closer and closer to resistance, you would anticipate, and eventually breaking out. That could be making moves back up to 50 or 80. That's what we think in amazing times. Anyway, VIX, like the point I was making when I came back here, having left UVXY, is to say, you know how you use Flash, right? You can use it for so many different things. It prints money, isn't it? So, appreciate the converted, eh? Right, so you're coming in there, could that possibly at the minute it is very extended, and you could easily test back up at these levels. Getting back above 29.81 at the minute would be big ask. Then on the early time frame, that's exactly where you're aiming for, right? 29.69, 200 period moving average. Shout out, Luke Spears. Also anniversary today. Whoop up, boom. But yeah, so 29.69, boom. Right, this volatility, look at that. It's obviously going to be picking up a little bit, isn't it? This is the volatility of the volatility, and then there's so many others, right? The volatility of the volatility, that's another ticker. We could go through VIX. Oh, did we not say we were going to go through all the VIX tickers? So we could do that too, didn't we? That'll be the perfect episode to talk about. I think I actually already now maybe did some of this. Anywho, great. So that was a quick look around the crypto markets. It wasn't like choosing any. I mean, I didn't even look at Ethereum. So you'd be like, how can you possibly say that, Tradespotting? How can you possibly say that, Tradespotting? You brainless, twat-faced idiot. Shut up, Tradespotting, idiot. Darren, God, what I really need to. This is what happens, you see. So I've got Irish. I need to be splashing on it or else it goes mad, you know. So you need to splash or else. That's what people be thinking. So this upward sloping 200 period moving average, 50 simple approaching it. That's 1 hour. It's coming for a golden cross. 4 hour, well above 50 simple, bearishly divergent. Not quite a failure swing. Are not bad there, actually. Quite good. That's quite good. And stochastics. Whoa, that's nice. Yeah, so I mean, is it a bull flag or is it breaking down? It's in the bullish control zone there. 2 hour time frame. Still positive. 1 hour. 1 hours. So you want to hold that level immediately. It looks like it's not far off of 236. Get out of the face. Also, prior resistance. Now support. That'd be good to see, but I don't know. Trust that. Eh? Here's your 236. Yes, thanks very much. This retracement, no. Both brutal. Back all the way to 86. You weren't getting any more than that without this thing breaking down. If it is to make a move beyond there on a 4 hour time frame, I'd say that then is coming back down. Test that 200 period moving average at 1400. If you lose, snooze, you lose. If you lose that 15, you'll go to 14. Whoopty, and you'll get there if you lose 15.5. Wow, Tradespotting with us that, and you'd have an early warning that everything was losing it if it lost 16. This is so easy with the easy maths. I love it when it does that. Don't you love it? Recently, loving the easy maths. Wow, that's not quite as easy there. So initially, 16th, 36.97. If it is going to put in some sort of a pennant, you might be lucky to get that. Should it then be breaking up? Is that going to happen over the weekend? Well, we're already, because the underlying Bitcoin is a way off ski and futures closed. Is that what that said? I can't even remember. This used to be my bread and butter. Where are you, buddy? Yeah, they're closed right now. He's butter. What was the point I was trying to make? Aye, so they're way off. Prices are way off. 21.15, and then side by side, 21.357. So $200. Positive move since futures have closed at the weekend. And the overall market has had like a little bullish flick towards the end of the day, but not exactly gone bullish. So you can't really trust that, you know. Overall downtrend, you can't really trust that situation. So yes, backwardization, simply because of the velocity we've seen with the futures market closed, potential gaps to the top side. Futures getting dragged up would obviously leave gaps underneath and increase the risk for people trading it and jumping into a train that had already been in motion. You know, that's part of the danger. You don't want those sort of artifacts below if you are entering a trending move, which has made a significant and like it's changed its risk profile because of the distance it's already traveled, right? While it may be a trend already in motion, you want to be careful that you've not jumping on at the wrong time, right? When it's going at its fastest and you're like it's about to immediately slow down and or change direction. So point I'm trying to make is, can't remember. Bitcoin, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, contango. Well, you want that back, but then not under these conditions, right? Under these conditions, you want it to be naturally futures prices picking up because so much going on the positive side of things. You'd also like to see that contango happening with a positive call put ratio and a lot of positive open interest around particularly increasing around tests of support levels, and so you could look at some of that. Tradespotting. Or you could make as you won't go back through this 236 there. That's the 236 currently, actually. Tradespot, or what was it? The last time there was a 236. Let's go back in time. This was the high. This was going through the 236. That was through the center line. And you got another positive move on the open interest at that stage and money flow coming into the market, which took Bitcoin up. So that's a positive situation. We're not seeing call puts there, but that's like a part of what's going on in the calculation. So yeah, I mean that's sort of positive. You see a retest of this breakout, that could be good, of this breakout zone if it works out from that. Also read 200 period moving average retest and 50 simple going through it at that point would be a good place to catch and go up again if that happens on the market open. You'd be back below where the futures closed at, so don't like the whole picture there. But it would then, of course, be closing that gap and be the first place for it to bounce. So until then, maybe you're looking at it like that. That's the place where you're immediately wrong. 4 hour, I can't remember. We did it, didn't we? We did, I think, Sosa. Yeah, and we'll look at that as well, too, back up at 31. It's just nearly a 24 target, is it? Was it 23.50? What was that? Anywho, I think we've reached the end of Tradespotting's brain at the minute. Thank you very much. Whoop.